You know that we have a convention coming soon. In the convention, we have a very sharp discussion panel, and the company asked me to be in charge. And then Paul is one of the selected top big shop builder in the discussion group. So that's why I knew his number pretty exciting. Let me just go very briefly, and then I will let Paul show you the detail. He joined the business January 2018, only 3.5 years. And Eric Olsen is his CEO. And the day we met, he's still EMD, but months later, he jumped to CEO. And today, he got a huge big shop. You know, Money Home always talk about 100 license big shop. And I feel pretty sad. My whole hierarchy, I have over 600 SMBs. Probably, I don't have many people who have a 100 licenses in the big shop, but Paul did. And also, surprisingly, within this short period, not only he reached a CEO title, also his income is a 7-figure, because $1 million earner, and he's from Nigeria. Okay, so I think you should understand the business could be done in a short period, 3-4 years to be CEO and a millionaire. You don't have to wait for 10 years or 15 years or 20 years to make $1 million. Okay, so I'm so happy. So Paul, you know, extremely busy with a huge big shop. You know how busy he is. Anyway, so he squeezed his time. So today he will share with us how he built this wonderful business in a short period. Okay, Paul, all yours.
All right. Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Dr. Yan. Again, it's really an honor to speak to your team. My name is Paul Njoku, like you said. We had an opportunity. Man, how often do you come into a business where not only that we have an opportunity to speak at WFG convention, but also Dr. Yan is going to be our moderator, right? He's actually the one coordinating the panel. I remember 3 years ago when I was new in the business, training associate, if you would have told me that my life, 3.5 years later, that we would be in this position, I probably would have said no way, right? Because when you are new, you know, you're still trying to figure your way out. Sometimes it looks like doing anything in WFG is impossible, right? But I think the reason why we got here was, one, we really, somebody just posted in the group chat from Nigeria. Our why was so strong. Does that kind of make sense? We had such a strong why that in our mind, me and my wife, we were like, no matter what, we're gonna push through. So before I really get into it, I just want to tell you guys a little bit of my story. So again, I'm from Nigeria, specifically from the from the Igbo tribe. Nigeria is a complex country with so many ethnicity group. I'm from the Igbo tribe. That's my wife. My wife is from America. My wife is from Mississippi. Even though Paul, I'm the one getting all the credits, the truth is, 3 years ago, when we got introduced into this business, if I'm really being honest, I didn't see it. It was one of those things, it makes sense, but it didn't make sense. It made sense, but it didn't make sense. I remember on a Saturday morning, getting off work. I was a registered nurse. I got off work, and my wife told me, honey, one of my co-workers, his name is Chris Kalowak. I don't know if there's any Filipinos in the house. He was a Filipino. My upline is actually Filipino, right? He was the one that changed my life. So he used to work with my wife. Chris Kalowak retired from nursing, and my wife was still working. And then he told me, honey, these guys that I used to work with, we think he's crazy, but now he just retired from nursing, right? I'm like, what do you mean retired from nursing in California? That's impossible. She's like, well, honey, and my wife knew what she would say to get me. I'm like, well, I mean, honey, if you say he retired, I want to listen to what he has to say. Because California, Bay Area, California, we are close to San Francisco. Nobody retires. Everybody keep working until they die. So I'm like, what do you mean he retire? So we came to a BPM on a Saturday morning. In 1 hour, Chris basically told us everything there is to tell us. But in my mind, the whole time he was talking, I'm like, I don't know, this thing really doesn't make sense. I just want to get the product. I want to get the IUL for me, for my daughter, for my wife. The whole business that it didn't make sense. My wife actually got coded before I did, January 2018. She saw it right away. She's like, honey, I don't care what you're doing. I'm going to do this. I have nothing to lose. She went ahead and got coded. And then 2 months after she got coded, January, February, March, my wife, she already got from between January and March, she was already an MD. So then when I joined the business in March of 2018, I'm like, no, I think I want to do this, right? I want to do this. So because we were running the business on my wife code, I came in March and then we switched everything to my code. And then 4 months later, we became an SMD. So we joined the business in March, in January, and then by April, man, we were already an SMD. And then we just started running, right? And then shortly after that, I want to say June, July, I went full time. I retired from nursing. You're looking at somebody that said, no, I don't want to do this. This is not for me. 2 months later, 3 months later, when I got licensed, I went full time because everything makes sense. What I quickly realized is there's a difference between working smart and working hard. I wanted to work smart. Like I wanted to build something. So that was really, how we did that. Now, getting into, what we did and how we did it, right? I don't really want to, obviously that's my family, right? Odyssey trip and all that. That's Hawaii. What we did and how we did it. You gotta focus on, of course, when you need something, you can't find it on the slide. You gotta be laser focused. The problem that most people have in WFG is most people, they come into the business, but they come in with employee mindset. I gotta wait for my upline to tell me when to make a phone call. I gotta wake up my upline to teach me illustrations. I gotta wait on my upline to teach me taprooting. I gotta wait, or even if we are like we don't initiate from day one. The man above is my witness. If Chris Calloway was on this call, he would tell you, Chris, when we came into this business, he didn't have to teach me anything more than one time. He didn't have to. Every time that I sat down with Chris and he was teaching, I was 100% laser focused. I was writing everything down because in my mind, the sooner that I need to know what I need to know, the sooner I can be independent. You cannot be independent if you don't know what you're doing. So my mindset, every time Chris opens his mind, I was writing everything down word for word. I will write it down. I will record him speak because in my mind, I'm like, the sooner we can figure this out on our own, the sooner we can run. And that was my mindset from day one. That was my wife's mindset. So when I'm in focus, absolutely no distraction. I'm not here to give anything, there's no magic to this thing, right? It's same old, something that I'm sure Dr. Wynn probably have told everybody on this call. There's no magic to it. It's just, my schedule is 6 a.m. in the morning Californian time to 2 a.m. California time. That has been my schedule for the last 18 months. There's no magic to it. I'm probably going to go to bed today to 3 a.m. in the morning, right? Because I just promoted our 3 SMDs. So now I'm in the grind of rebuilding again, right? And then sense of urgency. Everything that I do in WFG, I do it with sense of urgency. Meaning, what if WFG passes a law today that says nobody on WFG can recruit? If they say I can't recruit, do I have enough team to get to where I need to go? If they say, Paul, you can, like everything in my mind is almost like we're gonna wake up one day, somebody's gonna take this thing away. I'm paranoid. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm always paranoid. I'm always like, oh my God, we need to do this. We need to do that. That's me. Sense of urgency. My team knows that. My wife knows that. Everybody in our hierarchy knows that. I'm always paranoid. It's like every time we hit a milestone, even I become more paranoid. Oh my God. See, okay, we're gonna go to the next level. We're gonna go to, that's me. Right? I'm never comfortable. Why am I doing that? I'm doing that because to be great, right? If you want to be great, you can't have there can't be any let down, any let off. You gotta be on a constant grind to really get to where you need to go, right? And then increase your recruiting numbers. Everything in WFG is in volume. I remember 2 years ago, we used to, believe it or not, our business transformed. Our business transformed in the last 14 months. Everything our business changed. We were one of those people they used to call producers. When I first came into WFG, I was just making money. I was just writing a lot of business. That was me. Like I could write business like nobody. Right? But when we got our $500,000 last year, May, the great Eric Olsen, my CEO, then told me, Paul, you guys are good, but you gotta begin to get enough people that are, because it's like if you get one or two people on your team that can do what you do, you will take over the company. It's like I've looked at the numbers. If you get one or two or three people on your team doing exactly what you're doing, you guys will take over WFG. So after that mentorship, we went back, started literally intentionally, trying to recruit to find some individual. We went from recruiting bishop maybe 15, 20, 25. That was 14 months ago to now we're doing 60, 70, 80 recruit every month. Volume, so if you can hear me today, anything I want you to get out of it, volume. Volume solves our problem. If you feel like right now you're having a lot of problem in your team, in your bishop, in order, you don't have enough people coming in. If you have enough people coming in, you would not notice people that are not doing what you ask them to do. You will find enough people that are coachable that you can work with them. When you don't have enough people coming in, it's easy to focus on the negative. But when you have enough people coming in, you're like right now, I don't even have time. Don't get me wrong. I still have team, you're going to have drama and all that. I don't even pay attention to it. You know why? I have enough people doing what I want them to do. So those are the ones that I focus on. That, you solve that problem through volume. Volume solves everything. Really, every 10 you recruit, you're going to find a leader. Every 10 you recruit, you're going to find at least one leader. So if you look at the number, if you go to 50, you will find 5 leaders. If every 10, you will find a leader. Every 10, you find a leader. So you focus on those leaders, right? So you do that what? Through volume. We also empowering people. If people that know me will know it, I'm a control freak. Like I want to control everything. Like it gotta be perfect. But when you're in the business of building a bishop, the foundation of our business, it gotta be messy. It gotta be a control chaos. If that even makes sense, it gotta be messy. The more messier it is, the better. The more messier it is, the better. It gotta be messy. So if you are the one that likes to control, your team is probably not big enough. If you want to build a big hierarchy, you're going to get to a point where allow the system that you have in place, whatever that system is, allow the system you have in place, you will take care of everything. The system will literally figure everything out. I had to learn that the hard way, right? So, but I did that by empowering people. Oh, Paul, I'm not ready. Well, my sister, my brother, I wasn't ready either, but you got to try. And it can be things like, why don't you lead the BPM? It could be things like, why don't you run my fast start? It could be things like, why don't you do the recruiting interview? It could be things like, why don't you run the CFT training? Whether you are ready or you're not ready, get out there, right? Empowering them, because the moment people go from I'm not ready and then they did it and then they see that they can do, what are we trying to do at the end of the day? It's not about selling, and I hope everybody on this call understand that. It's not about selling the products. We are in the business of building people. Whoever can build the most people will dominate the company. It took me a minute to realize that. But we are not in the business of selling an annual or doing an annuities. We're in the business of building leaders. How do you build them? You build people by empowering them. Oh, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? I don't care you're ready or you're not ready. Get out there, empower people, encourage them. You got to start doing that. That's what we did. Because then once we started doing that, now that means I had enough people doing little. That's how you build a big ship. Everybody can be a superstar. So people are asking now, Paul, you have 100 licensed agents after promoting this SMD. How do you've managed to promote SMD after SMD, you are still running a 100,000 point base shop. I go, what's the secret? The secret was, I remember talking to Eric Olsen last year. I'm like, Eric, what is your record? I don't know if you guys know that Eric Olsen has been running 100 point base shop for the last 10 years. every month. And I'm like, Eric, what is the secret to that? He's like, you got to get to 100 license, Bishop. If you get your Bishop to 100 license, you need everybody doing little. Everybody doing little. It becomes automatic. Every month, as you begin to promote SMD, it becomes automatic. So in my mind, for the better part of last year, that's what I focused on. We got to get to 100 license. We got to get to 100 license. We got to get to 100 license. Because Eric is like, that is the formula. Once you get that, because then what, you don't need, everybody can be a superstar. You don't need a superstar. You'll be good to get them, but everybody can be, you just need too many people doing little. That's the business. But to do that, you got to have enough inventory. I call them producing license agents. It's one thing to get them on net recruits. It's one thing to get them licensed. It's another thing to get them to produce, right? So 100 license agent. What if I can get 100 of them become net recruits? What if I get 100 of them start producing? That's where the explosion happens, right? So in my mind, so that's my next thing right now. I'm just kind of, my first goal was to get to 100. My next goal right now is to get all of them producing. Because once I get all of them producing, that's where the magic start happening, right? So include empower leaders, run a contest, obviously, increase their license ratio. There are too many things that I started doing, but increasing license ratio was, in my team, the days of, honestly, I think I should have put a number on this. Increasing the license ratio, that was probably the system, what we did, that was probably what changed everything. By this time, March of last year, March of 2020, we came back from Hawaii. In early April, we had a leadership mentorship retreat with a co-founder of the company, Rich Tolley. Rich Tolley lives in Pebble Beach, California. So Eric invited all the Pinnacle leaders to Rich Tolley. We spent 2 days there mentoring. When we went to that retreat, all Rich talked about for a whole 2 days, we were there for 2 days. All he talked about was license ratio and net license ratio. License ratio and net license ratio. That was what all he talked about for 2 days. And I remember sitting there with my wife, and I'm going, net license. I'm like, I don't even track these things. I'm like, license ratio, I'm not tracking it. Net license ratio, I'm not, my wife is looking at me, she's looking at me. I'm like, is the assistant tracking this? I don't get the report. We were still at this bad time. We only had 30 license agents on our team with no SMD promoted. March of 2020, 30 license agents on our team, 0 SMD promoted. We came back from that retreat. I had an emergency meeting with our team and all the MDs and frontline and everything. And I told them on that call, if I can pause this for a second, I told them on that call, this is that we're gonna do something different. Because we were brainstorming, asking ourselves, what do we need to do to solve the problem that Rich Tolley was talking about? What do we need to do? And all the leaders, everybody had all their ideas. And then at the end, we made a decision that we're no longer going to recruit Because up until that time, that's all we did. Come into this business, WFG, wonderful. You know, the whole spiel, right? Everybody have their own spiel. We do all that, we get them to pay $100. And then they pay $100 to WFG, and then they disappear. So people came, they joined, but then they disappeared. Can't find them. Anybody on this call, that has happened to you? Maybe that, I don't know. Then I told them, no, we're no longer gonna do that. We're gonna go from now recruiting to now, I'm gonna schedule, if I recruit you, I'm also going to schedule your pre-licensing on the spot. Because I wasn't interested in recruiting. I was interested in building a business. What was happening on our team was people were recruiting to impress Paul. Oh, because I don't want Paul calling me saying he didn't have any recruits. So they were recruiting their grandma, they were recruiting their grandpa, they were recruiting their nan, they were doing all kinds of weird stuff just to get a recruit. Right? So I wanted that when you recruit them, schedule their pre-licensing. When we started doing that, things started moving. We were noticing that people were joining the business, they were actually studying, but then we also did one more thing. We added, if you live in a state that would allow us to schedule the exam. I live in California. In California, even in Texas, you could recruit somebody today. Actually, I just recruited a lady in Dallas, Texas today. Before we got on this Zoom, I'm like, this is what we're going to do. Are you ready to do it in one day? It will probably take 20 minutes to half an hour. She said, yes. We recruited her, $100 to WFG. We did the Excel solution, $25. And then we scheduled her exam in Texas. I think it's $43. We did all that in one day. But you notice what this does? Now I don't have to worry about chasing her around. I already told her that ownership is now on her. All I gotta do, I gave her, and I put a date to it. I gave her 2 weeks to do it. 2 weeks is my standard. If I recruit you, you have 2 weeks to get licensed. So in my mind, I don't have to worry about her. Right? I don't have to be chasing her around because I've given her an assignment. That assignment is, I need you to study, I need you to pass the exam. Why? I can build a business with somebody that is not licensed. If people are not licensed, they are useless. What do I mean by useless? Mindset. Long-term thinking versus short-term thinking. I'm going somewhere with this. Long-term thinking versus short-term thinking. Long-term thinking, I need multiple cows. Short-term thinking, you only focus on one cow. And that cow can only give you so many milk. Long-term, I'm trying to build a business. I can only build a business with people that are licensed. People that are not licensed short-term, I can go in there and make money, quick money, but long-term thinking, if I really take my time with them, I can go in there and make a lot indefinitely. That's what we started doing. And that's really, honestly, that of everything, that was really what changed our business. Because I went to a leadership retreat where, that's what Rich Tolly talked about. That's how we increased our licensing ratio. That's how we increased that. And then CFTs. When I came into WFG, I saw people, the best shop that I came out of. I saw people, some of them, it took them 6 months. It took them 1 year to become a CFT. Think about it. Think about it. And sometimes when I look back at it, I think this is a problem. And it's a problem again when you think in short term. It kind of goes back to what I'm talking about. Do you want a cow, one cow, or do you want a bunch of cows? Because if I have one cow to drain milk from, I will run out of milk. But if I got 1,000 cows that I'm getting milk from, then I could get cow A. I get a little milk today. Next week, I go to cow B. And then that's what you got to be thinking about this thing. Because that's really what it is. We're in the business of distribution. Then if we're in the business of distribution, if I don't have CFTs, how can I distribute? If I don't have CFTs, I got to be able to have people that are trained, that I get to go, that can go out there and make some things happen. If I don't have CFTs, then that means I got to do everything. Well, I'm not trying to do everything. If I want to do everything, then I got to go back to nursing, being a registered nurse. I understood the power of CFTs. That means if I have to stay up on the Zoom, or I need to come to your house, or I got to drag you to the office, I got to drag you to the office, stay in the office with you to 2 a.m. in the morning. I got to teach you on how to close, how to recruit, how to prospect. If I got to do all that, and I have to stay up to 2 a.m. in the morning, I will do it. It is my responsibility. And all my leaders, I told them, that is your responsibilities. Why? How can you get to net recruit? Remember, Rich Tolly talked about license ratio a net recruit. Well, how can you get to net recruits if you don't have CFTs that are moving? If I got 50 people coming into my base shop every month, Paul Njoku, will not be the one to field train all of them. I gotta have enough people that know what they're doing so that they can go out there to help this new licensed agent to make money. Because net recruit, that's the game changer. That's where it's at. But for me to get to net recruit, I gotta have enough people that know what they're doing. Gotta have enough people that know what they're doing. I gotta have enough people that come in, they want to take this insurance. There's no point me saying that I have the biggest team and half of my team doesn't know what they're doing. In other words, if you give me 50 licensed agents that are equipped, that are trained, and you get a 200 licensed agents, my 50 licensed agent will beat you any day, anytime. You know why? Because they are trained and they are prepared. In my mind, I wanted a big team, but I also wanted a team that was the most prepared. So I wanted a big team. That's the end goal, because you're going to get them licensed to get it big, but I also want a team that was sharp, that know what they're doing. How do you get them to know what they're doing? CFTs. They got to know what they're doing, but you got to do that quicker. I saw people, sometimes it's taking people 6 months. It's taking them a year to become a CFT. How can that be? This is your business, ownership. You work for yourself. I hope everybody on this can understand that, right? Dr. Wen is here as a leader, as a visionary to cast the vision. But at the end of the day, this is your business. This is your business. The business rise and falls on your hand. So, becoming a CFT, what do I mean by that? That means you will hear me tell my team, I am going to train the best that I can. But I'm also going to encourage you. Nationwide, they have a phone number. It's not a secret company. Pick up the phone and call them. You don't understand IUL? You don't understand the way I trained it? Pick up the phone and call them. They could train you on IUL. You don't understand how to do an annuity? Crump. Pick up the phone and call Crump. They will get on Zoom with you and explain all that. You don't know how to do taprooting? Sometime WFG is doing, they have all the leaders, they will come in like Dr. Yen or Rich Tolley or Rocky Shi. Some of them will come in and they will train on, I'm like, pick up the phone and log in on the webinar. Like, I can't teach you everything. Chris, God bless his heart. Chris, he's my leader, but Chris didn't teach me everything. I understood from day one that his job was to bring me into WFG. What I do with this opportunity was up to me, not up to him. The mistake that most people make is they come in, they start blaming. Oh, they didn't do this. They didn't do that. They didn't do that. That's your business at the end of the day. So you got to apply yourself, right? So you applying yourself to learn what you need to learn is very critical. Very, very critical. I'm just being honest. Chris didn't teach me illustration, if I'm really being honest. He taught me a lot of things. He didn't teach me illustration. I learned illustration on my own by calling Nationwide, calling Trans-American, learning all that stuff. If that kind of makes sense, you got to apply yourself. You got to dedicate time to apply what you do today. That's how, in other words, CFT is very critical. But you have to become a great CFT to train other people. In other words, if you don't know what you're doing, how can you train other people? How can you teach people something that you don't understand? It's impossible. You will agree with me. You got to be able to know what you're doing in order to transfer that skills, right? The most profitable part of our business is duplication. Of everything we do in WFG, the one that will pay you the most money is duplication. That means what you know, can you be able to teach other people what you know? Well, if you don't know what you're doing, how can you duplicate? That's a problem. There's a lot of that happening in WFG. People are interested in making the money, but they're not interested in doing the work. They just want to make money, but they don't want to do the work. That's a problem. Because then how can you build a team? Right? Because if you don't know what you're doing and then you start bringing on these people, it's going to be a breakdown in the system. Because now somebody's going to have to step in and, do all that, right? So CFT was the base one. And then base shop standard of excellence. Base shop standard of excellence, what does that mean? The team knows. Our team knows that every month our goal is 100 recruits. Every month. It doesn't change. Every 100 licensed, 100 recruit. They know that every month. Every month. Why? Because my base shop standard of excellence, if I get enough people come in, and we basically recruit to client ratio, So the recruiting will lead to production. Recruiting will lead to production. Production will lead to cash flow. Everything starts with recruiting. So my best chef standard of excellence every month is 100 recruits, right? TTR, triple digit recruiting, TDR, right? TDR every month. And then back office. I wouldn't take the credit for that. I will give that back office push. That's the operations, by the way. I will give that credit to my wife and the assistants. They are the one in terms of literally from the point that the application goes in, 15th of every month, they meet with all the CFTs, trying to understand where everybody at, who needs help, do we need to, step in, and so that's really that way cases are not dragging and people are changing their mind. So, and then that, that's really, again, I just wanted to be short, sweet, because then I'm sure Dr. Wing, you're gonna have some question for me. Yeah, but other than that, that's really all I have. I don't really wanna, how do you find 100 people consistently? Well, that is a standard. It doesn't mean that we find them consistently, but that is a standard. Because in my mind, if we don't get to 100 recruits, if we get to 80, well, it's better to stretch people, because if I say nothing, then we won't get to 80. We'll be at 20. So in my mind, it's 100 every month. Even if we don't get to 100, if we get to 80 or 90, well, I have enough inventory. Our business, we're in the business of people. So you gotta have enough people coming in order for you to do what you're trying to do. If you don't have enough people coming in, then it's impossible to do that. So anyway, so Dr. Wong, again, I'm gonna hand it over to you. I'm sure we might have some question, and then we'll probably use the remainder of the minutes to do that. We can't hear you. You're muted.
Okay, they muted me. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Paul. It's excellent training. There are so many points I think are very significant. I truly believe you have a very strong business ownership and leadership, so you will become a giant in the company. Anyway, all the CEOs, can any CEO have any questions? Paul very busy. We don't want to spend too much time, so we hope finish 1 hour sharp. All the CEOs, can you unmute yourself? So any questions, feel free to ask.
Hi, Paul. This is Christine from Houston at EVC. And it's very impressive, very, very impressive. So my question is, how do you train that the new member who got the license after that? How do you train them into the CFTs?
Oh, that's actually, I do have a system in place for that. Actually, that's the training that I'm gonna. So, basically, without not really. Let me see. Do I have this here? Give me a sec. Let me see. Okay, so I'm gonna be training on this today. So all my CFTs, if you can see my screen, that way, even though people call it a secret, I don't look at it as a secret. I feel like we gotta help each other. All my CFTs, I put them through what I call a 6-week. I call it a flag carrier agenda. So I put them what I call 6 weeks boot camp. That 6 week is basically, this is kind of the agenda. I don't really have a PowerPoint on this, but this is kind of a skeletal agenda that tells me this, what am I trying to get them to understand, and what am I trying to get these people to know so that they can be successful. So these are some of the things that at that agenda. Actually, my new class starts today. The other group just graduated last week, so the new group starts today. And we meet for every Monday and Tuesday for 90 minutes, sometimes 2 hours, depending on the group. But these are kind of the things that I go over. Goal settings, ethos script, closing and presentation, review of the book concepts, illustration training, FNA, illustration training, IMS websites. Week 4, I spend a lot of time on illustration because that's really, to me, I feel like that's where most people struggle, not being able to explain it and run it. So yeah, I'm gonna be honest, it's a lot. But again, the way I look at this thing is, if any group that I do that with, if they do what they're supposed to do, then it's worth it. Because that kind of makes, like, I just promoted in the last year, we promoted about 7 SMDs. 3 of them went through this. if I'm really being honest. 3 of them, actually, one of them is in Dallas, Texas. So this is kind of a skeleton thing, but basically, what do you think they need to know? And then if you want to condense that to a week, you want to condense that to the 6 weeks, you want to condense that to what, whatever. Sometimes even I might do one-on-one. If I bring in people that I feel like they're going to do really, really well, but they don't have the time to go through this, I might have to schedule one-on-one on them. Maybe we will meet every day for 2 hours, whatever it takes, right? So whatever it takes, that's my mindset. But that's kind of really, to answer your question, Sonny, I hope I'm saying your name right, that this is kind of what I have them go through. Basically, what do they need to be successful? They got to know how to present. They got to know how to recruit. They got to know how to prospect. They got to know how to run an illustration. And they got to know how to enter applications. If they can do every other thing that they need to do independently, they don't need me, right? They don't need me. They can go run their own show, right? So that's kind of how I look at it, right? So because to me, I'm not looking for people that are dependent. I'm looking for people that are independent, right? I really encourage that. Some people look at it as a threat. I don't look at it as a threat, right? Because in my mind, if you know what you need to know, you don't need me. Then if you don't need me, then I can sit back and watch this beautiful thing unfold. So that's kind of my mindset. So it's just a different philosophy, right? So I'm okay letting people go. If they want to go, I'm okay with that. As long as they know what they're doing. Yeah.
Okay, great, Paul. I have a question for you. You build a big shop, and meanwhile, you keep promoting new SMD. That's why you become EMD and the CEO. We lost Paul?
No, I'm here. You good.
Okay, great. Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you balance keeping the big shop, meanwhile still promoting new SMDs, and so that you also get a promotion? And what kind of a standard, how strong your leader become, then you feel like they are ready for SMD?
Great question, Doc. So 2 parts. One was how are we able to maintain even as after promoting us these SMDs? My standard with on my team, obviously everybody have what they want to do. My standard with basically the exchange leg. We take good exchange leg. I take MD, qualified MD legs. That's my exchange leg. Right? I don't complicate it. I need a qualified MD leg. So that means MD with 5 legs. If you give me an MD with 5 legs, that means they're ready to become an SMD. I just gotta help them get 5 more licensed agents, and then it would be easy for them to become. So that's kind of my standard in there. And then what was the other part? The other part is I'm sorry, what was the other part?
The other part, I mean, what kind of number standard before your leader become, you feel like they are ready for SME?
Oh yeah.
Like per month recruit, production, and the license wise. I know company have a guideline, but
yeah.
We do more.
I'm gonna be honest. My mindset is you have standard, and some people are gonna come in and they're gonna meet the standard and exceed, go above and beyond to really do that. So, but also you have a situation. But to really answer your question, my mindset is you can't hold 2 people too long, right? I'm a big believer. When we became an SMD, I don't think we were ready, if I'm really being honest. So there's no such thing as people being ready. Now, you as a leader, though, you gotta have metrics or standard things that you look at that would be like, okay, this is what they are doing. So for me, an example of that would be DDR. So if I'm getting ready to promote you as an SMD, you are MD net leg. Are you guys doing DDR? Have you done that 3 months in a row? If you've done that 3 months in a row, then that's a check, right? Do you have our standard in Pinnacle is 50K, not 35, right? You gotta have their watch, right? You gotta have their watch, right? That means, because if you have their watch, then that means at that point, at least you're closer, right? You know what, you gotta be able to close business, right? I can't have an SMD that is still calling me, hey, Paul, come do appointment. I mean, don't get me wrong. I will step in if it's a high profile, but I can't be going to go do term with living benefit you at an SMD. You can't do, you see what I'm saying? Like things like that gotta make sense. But for me, that's really what I look at. The leadership skill, I look at you being able to know what you're doing. DDR, are you a closer? To me, those are the things that I'm looking at because you can survive. The leadership skill, that comes later. So you don't have to necessarily have the way I'm looking at it, you don't necessarily have to have leadership skill. Even though SMD is a leadership position, in my mind, what do you need to survive? You gotta be able to recruit because we're in the business of people, and you gotta be able to close business. If you can do those two things, the leadership still that is a work in progress. I'm still doing meetings with them, so we can always work on that and all that. There's some people come in, they check, even in the leadership skill. So, but for me, those are the things that I'm kind of looking at. Can you be able to survive? That means you're doing a DDR, you can close business, you can transfer skills, right? And then the leadership, if you can do those three things, and then the leadership, but every now and then you will get people that will come in full package, right? And then they're ready to go, and then you gotta let them go. But again, depending on how you look at it, I don't really believe in holding people too long, right? Because then, let me put it this way, you will never see an SMD, they can go through slump, but they will always stay in the business. Right? They can go through some, but they will always stay in business. But when people, they get ready to go, and then for whatever reason, something is not happening, then you might worry. I call that sometimes people lose, they deflate. And then now you gotta come in and then try to, so I don't like doing that. So I just, you gotta make sense. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying just push them out. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, they gotta meet you halfway. They gotta do the work. They gotta do the work. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Thank you so much. Sunny Sue, you have a question?
Yes. Hi, Paul. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. I have two questions. In terms of you have so many recruits in the base shop per month. That's amazing. So how do you run your daily? Do you have like multiple BPMs a day? How your people recruit so fast? That's my question. First question. The second question: do you have a successful recruit agent who already have a license and coming on board and then become a big builder story?
Yeah. I do 2 BPMs a week. I do 2 BPMs, but I think Zoom has really changed everything, right? Zoom has really changed everything. So for us right now, it's no longer even the BPMs per se, is the grand openings. So every new recruit that comes into our base shop, they're gonna do a grand opening. Why? Because now with the grand opening, I'm no longer interested in getting a list of names of top 3 or getting a list of names of top 10. The grand opening is open. My Zoom capacity can accommodate 1,000 people. So if I recruit you, Sonny, let's say, for example, 1,000 people, let's do a grand opening. If I open, I'm Nigerian, if I open a Nigerian restaurant, am I gonna collect names of people that I'm gonna call to come eat? Or am I gonna do a big event to open the Nigerian restaurant? I'm gonna do a big event. Then in that big event, if I live in California, Bay Area, if the whole Bay Area wants to come to my restaurant that day, they are open, they're invited. So the more the people, now I have the ability to lifestyle, that's what I do. So it's not so much about a one-on-one, it's more of the grand opening, because in that grand opening, I sell it big, right? We sell it big, and then once you sell it big, and then we would then start doing follow-up. And then the follow-up, then it's not like the lady that I recruited today. I did a grand opening with a doctor in Dallas. 40 people were there. Most of the appointments that I've done today, I've recruited 3 people for him today. Most of them was from that grand opening. And my calendar for the week is packed from that event. But that's just one event that I did. Then you have people on my team that are also doing similar things that I'm not even aware of. So that's how they are generated. Because grand opening people come and then they generate from there. Right? Oh, I love what I heard. When can we sit down? I want to be a client. I want to be a agent, and then I want to be both, and then you start driving it from there. So that's really how you do that. So what was the second part of the question?
Well, that's wonderful. Grand opening. How many hours your grand opening? 2 hours?
No, it depends. It could be an hour. It could be 2 hours. It really depends. Okay. Sometimes the grand opening, though, you will finish and then I do a Q&A. So a lot of my grand opening, once I finish and then I will open it. I don't do grand opening and then just go. I give people an opportunity to speak, to ask questions. Because to me, it's not really about what you say. Because remember, in this grand opening, people, some of them are coming in, they're skeptical. So if you just do it and then log off, you lose them. But if you do it and then open it up for like 30 minutes Q&A, that's how you connect.
Engaging.
That's how you connect. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. My second question is just about agents. Since you are so focused on pre-licensing, definitely. And do you recruit a lot of agents already have license? Just curiosity.
Do I recruit ones that are already licensed?
Yeah.
Oh no. Every now and then you might get, yeah. But most of them are organic. Yeah, most of it is organic. People that are not, That would be nice. That would be nice if you could find out.
New idea. Okay, thank you so much, Paul.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, any other CEOs? We have maybe.
Hi, Paul. My name is Victor. We met on the plane on the way to Hawaii, and back then you just hit 500,000. Now you're 1 million. Amazing. So thank you so much for sharing your information and all this knowledge. Yeah, my question is this, right? You have that 6-week training program to train CFTs, correct? So how often do you conduct that?
Every 6 weeks.
Every 6 weeks. So it's a continuous thing.
Oh, it's a continuous, yeah. It's exhausting, but yeah.
So who does that? Who conducts that training? You yourself, or you have trainers?
I'm the one that's been doing that for the last 1 year, but I'm getting ready to, because I have some SMDs now. They're like, I mean, they're out, but they're kind of doing it on their own. But now I'm trying to see how we can all. But again, I don't want to water it down. So that's why I'm still the one, doing it. Yeah, but I'm the one doing it.
Yeah, you want to keep the standard, right? And one thing,
Mm-hmm.
okay, for new people, what's your average when you come in? They come in, attend the training, right? Do you, by the time they finish the training, then they're all certified and ready to go and run on their own?
Not all of now. So the last group I had I don't do this with everybody now. I don't do this with it. So believe it or not, on any given with like the class that I'm in, I will probably handpick maybe anywhere from 12 to 15. There are ones that I don't pick. Okay, I don't do this with everybody. In my mind, the way I'm looking at it is, if 50 people or 60 people or 70 people comes in, who are the ones that I think that have what it takes to where we're gonna go through this, they're gonna take it serious. They're not gonna waste my time. Right? So in my mind, that's that is what I'm saying. So you have ones that they will come in, I don't even like, I will still deal with them, but I'm not really, because it is one thing to build, but it's another thing to deal with people that are serious, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to go through that so if I get a sense that you're then basically whoever that brought you in, if they're CFT, go back to them, right? So I'm only looking for those ones that I feel like they are worth my time. They're gonna, they're gonna show up, turn their camera on and all that. So that's kind of where, I'm not doing this with everybody now. I'm just being honest,
Wow.
right?
That's
Not doing this with
so
everybody. Yeah.
What do they have to do to be part of that handpicked group? Is there
They're
a
gonna
qualification?
They're gonna be licensed. They're gonna have the products, right? You can. Some of them, some lately people will come in, they don't want to get the product, right? So they're gonna be licensed. They should have done their PFR. They are fully appointed with all the providers and all that. That way, I'm not just wasting time to go through, So they're gonna do all that. And also, we're looking at some leadership quality from talking to them. I will try to meet with them prior. To engage them, see what they, that kind of thing. So those are some of the things that I'm looking at. Yeah.
Okay, great. So Sharon, you have a question? Sharon Dunn?
Yes. Hi, Paul. This is Sharon. Thanks for training and congratulations for the big achievement. With 100 recruits you have come in every month, and then I see you highly select a group for that special training, right? But what about others? Others you give some kind of 5-star or kind of orientation program?
Yeah, all that's good. Basically, go back to. I mean, I have leaders now. This is not like Paul's show. I have other leaders. Then they will go back to whoever that brought them into the business, and then I'm still doing general training now, right? I'm still doing so. I train almost every day, every week. I train almost 7 days a week, right? So things like this. So all those people, let's say they come in, I have something like this. So if they don't come, if they don't have the luxury of attending that, then they can go to this. So if you look at this right now, let me see if I can find it. So they have this. So they will have this to go to. So this is not just, they will have this to go to. So every aspect of the business, so they will have the opportunity to go to this. So if you look at this right now, so that means if I don't get to work with them directly, I have a license class, right? This is an SMD, she runs them. I have a weekly training, prospering and recruiting. They are SMDs, I don't do that, they do that. Right. So these are the people that I didn't get an opportunity to drill on prospering, how to prosper, how to recruit. I have leaders that are doing that in my hierarchy. I have another leader. She's an SMB. Paul, I don't know how to do a rollover. I knew it. Well, if you didn't get an opportunity to do that with me one-on-one, go to her, right? Go to her. She does that 2 days a week. This is what I specialize on with my wife, presentation and illustration. I used to do that 5 days a week. Now I'm only doing it 3 days a week. So the ones that didn't get an opportunity to come to my training, well, this is open for everybody in the hierarchy. They can come to that, right? So I do that. Now it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They can come to that. Weekly training. This is my system lady when it comes to systems, ratios. Well, a lot of things, you could get a lot of information on the website or WFG website. Instead of them coming to me, promotion and all that, go to her. She will teach you how to do all that, right? Weekly training, back office, right? Again, so we got trainings going on. We do. I mean, we got trainings going on. So again, the ones that I can't capture, then they will, in addition to the person that brought it, and then they leverage this and then leverage one-on-one. I really think the best training, by the way, is a one-on-one, right? One-on-one, that's where it's at. Because one-on-one, I can find out what you don't know, and then I can try to fix it, right? So yeah, but there's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, that's great. So you and your SMD all together, right, run all this training. And then this is additional to your regular, the office BPM training, all this, right?
Exactly. This is regular to my office BPM. This is regular to my CFT. All my CFT, I meet all of them. I meet them every Saturday. This is, yeah, so yeah, it's because what I'm realizing in this business is not so much about having the team, it's also having people that actually they know what they're doing. When people know what they're doing, they do more, because that's what I'm trying to say. When they don't know what they're doing, then that's why they're not doing anything, because they're scared. But if they feel empowered, then they know what they're doing. You're gonna get them to do it. People will do more. That's what happened to me, right? So most people, that's usually the way it works.
All right. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, Jenny Lee, you have some more questions?
Yes, Paul. This is Jenny. I'm from Dallas.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, very exciting stuff. Yeah, congratulations. My question to you is, you mentioned that business mindset is very important for the recruiting, for the recruits.
Right.
How do you help people changing their employee mindset to business owner mindset? What do you do?
I do a lot of, it's kind of funny you even say this, because I used to have a lot of leaders in WFG. They would come and speak about inspiration and motivation. But in the last month now, I basically told all my SMDs and even my wife, I'm like, I'm gonna switch on my training. I'm gonna go back to the basics. What the ingredients that people need to survive, because to me, that's really where it's at. I mean, if you come in here thinking it's all about hallelujah and kumbaya, it doesn't work like that, right? You gotta be willing to do the real stuff that you need to be successful. So I do a lot of book review. Like I do a lot of people that came from nothing in others that are not in WFG, that have done well in life, and then talk about their mindset. So a lot of my training, I will be playing like some of those videos, or I would talk about so I'm doing a lot of things to really to get there, because at the end of the day, 90% of what we do is mindset, right? Now the skill set is up 10%. Most everything, so people gotta get their mind right. So I'm not here to tell you that everything on my team is all roses. No, it's not. I'm just being honest. I mean, that is a challenge that I think everybody has to deal with, which is trying to get people to believe in themselves and to see that this thing, they can actually, if they treat it like a business, they can go out there and win for themselves and win for their family. It's a challenge for everyone. I'm just gonna be honest, but I'm just letting you know kind of what I've been doing lately in trying to, like, I used to bring like all these leaders, I'm no longer doing it. Like, I'm like, no, any meeting that we're doing right now is gonna be training meeting. I'm no longer having people to come in and talk about, the roses or tell their story. No, enough of that, right? We're gonna go back to what do you need to do to be successful in WFG? What you need oftentimes is you gotta get your mind right. You gotta have a worker bee mindset, and you gotta be willing to apply yourself, right? In my opinion, that's really what you need, because those things never really work for me. Maybe it's how I grew up. Right? I don't need you to tell me your story to inspire me. I don't need that. I don't need you to tell me your story to motivate me. It doesn't work with me, right? What I need is, what do you do? How do you do it? Show me, and then I will go do it. That's kind of that. But most people are not like that now. So I understand the motivation and all that, but I'm just telling you what I'm doing with my time. I already told, I'm like, guys, this is what we are doing, because in my mind, I don't need an army of people. If I get enough people that are serious, we can still take over the company, right? But you gotta get enough people that are serious. So, yeah.
Great. How about you? One more question. Last question. Okay, Peter, you have a question? Peter Wynn?
I'm picking up learn a lot from Paul. So thank you for the information, Paul.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Paul, may I ask your last question?
Okay, Christine, go ahead.
Talking about the survive, right? DDR plus a closer. So how do you make the new member coming in few weeks or few months to become a closer?
Oh, reading books, reading. Let me actually reading. You gotta get people to read. When they don't read, it's impossible. Again, I'm speaking from a personal experience. What made me a closer was reading books. What we do is hard to explain what we do when people haven't read the knowledge, when they don't have the knowledge. So books like this, Retirement Miracle by Patrick Kelly, most of my new members, they have to read this book. That's also another, somebody was asking earlier, what do they have to do for you to handpick to train them? They gotta read the book, and I quiz them on the book. They gotta read it and then I quiz them on the book. Okay, you read the book? Yes. Chapter 1, what did it say? Chapter 2, what did it say? Why? Knowledge. If you read this book, if you don't even if you don't know anything about an IUL, you don't understand how an IUL works. If you read this book, you will understand an IUL. Then me teaching you the illustration is just a practical aspect of it. But the theory of an IUL, they talked about it on this book. Everything like loans, tax-free, long-term care, debt benefit, is it option increasing? It talks about all that on this book. Well, if they don't read it and understand it, then me trying to teach illustration, now I'm teaching them something that they can comprehend. But if they already have a knowledge of how this thing works, it's easy to teach. So a book like this, oh yeah, you gotta read it. You gotta be able to know what's going on, right? You gotta be able to explain it, right? Another book is also this one, Money, Wealth, Life Insurance. You gotta read these 2 books before I even start talking to you. If you haven't read it, I'm just wasting time. So no matter what, I can't duplicate myself if people have not done the homework. Meaning, you will hear me tell people in a book like this, you see what the banks are doing with their money. So people in America putting money in the bank, getting 0.1% interest, and then the banks are putting money in their life insurance and they're making 19 billion, making higher interest. Well, if you read a book like this, it would be easy to explain it. So for me, the illustration is just there. But once this knowledge is there, it's easy to really, so things like this, so to really answer your question, this is how I make people CFT. They gotta have the knowledge. If they have the knowledge, you don't need presentation. Like some of my appointments, I can sit down with you, just have a dialogue with you and talk about an IUL and talk about WFG without not showing you anything. I'm just having a conversation heart to heart with you. See, when people get to that point, that's where you get dangerous. Because now you don't need the PowerPoint. You don't need, so people will tell me what PowerPoint to use. I'm like, I don't know, just give me any PowerPoint. As long as I can read it, I can have a conversation. It's not really about the PowerPoint for me, it's about the information, the dialogue that I'm trying to have with you so that we can really, that's kind of how I look at it. That's kind of how I look at it.
Wow, thank you so much. The last question is, what's the percentage of your productions is the internal consumption is from the members?
Oh no. Internal, oh no, it's mostly outside, external. It's mostly outside. I mean, with new volume, you're constantly trying to get people, lately what I'm running into, some people are coming in, they don't want to get the product, they want to do the business, right? So you're gonna run into that. But mostly we do everything we can, again, that's why I have my training, because if they don't get the product, I'm not talking to them. Like, I'm not dealing with them. There are some things that they're gonna need for me to really start dealing with them and, Yeah, because at the end of the day, we're running a business. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are some internal consumption going on, but mostly it's external. Mhm.
All right. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, Paul, wonderful training. I mean, lots of exciting stuff. I can truly believe you will be in the top very soon. So I hope everybody really get the point. I mean, truly business ownership and take in charge. Never rely on anyone. It's your business. No matter how much your upline teach you, it doesn't affect your success if you want to do it. So leader find a way, okay? And never complain, never find excuse. So so Paul, I'm so happy for you, and thanks for coming here to share your experience with my team. And I will see you sometime soon.
Absolutely, sir.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dr. Wayne.
Thank you, everybody. Yeah. Thank
All
you,
right.
Paul.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Paul.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate.
Thank
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Paul.
Dr. Wang Yang.
Let's do it, okay? Let's do it.
Thank you,
100
Dr.
recruits
Wang
per
Yang.
month.
Thank you, Dr. Wang Yang.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Dr.
Thank
Wang
you,
Yang.
Dr. Wang Yang.
Thank you,
Dr.
Yang Zhou, for
Wang.
organizing this.
Sure, okay,
Thank you,
bye-bye.
sir.
I just end this.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, Dr. Yang.